to another session of Flames of the Divine. And that is a 1 on the D4. Rudy, you get to do the recap. What happened last session?
We went shopping, and we left the city. That's it.
Well, all right then. So, I give a more detailed recap there, but that is basically what happened. And you did some last minute shopping. Heaven got her bird sent and off the of Talos. Got acquainted with one of the more one of the better blacksmiths in town, and the party got briefed by Hilna on what her on what the job in the Valley of Life and Death was. And we're also introduced to Anatar, her contact, who is working there. Of course, and when day broke, they set off, and now they are making their journey. So, the cart is trundling along down the road to the south. This you've basically got a whole bunch of stretches of downtime. I'm ahead of you, except for whoever is driving guiding the horses. So, is there anything you'd all like to do during that downtime?
I would like, one thing. In between the downtime, Talos would like to bring up to Rudy something that's been on his mind since the ruins. Whenever they have the downtime. Sorry, go ahead.
Eh?
I just heard you turning on the microphone, and I thought you were going to say something.
No, I was just unmuting, so if I needed to speak, I could.
All right, sorry. I got preemptive on that one. All right, anyway. He says, by the way, Rudy, do you mind if I ask you something?
Yes?
Back at the catacombs, when we took care of those undead, you actually surprised me. I had no idea you knew how to use a weapon.
I do.
Is that something you just always were able to do, or is that something you picked up from me?
I've always been able to.
Oh. I suppose I never really asked, so it never came up.
I cannot tell you anymore.
I suppose not. My apologies. I made the assumption that, you weren't as experienced as I thought you were. Well, sorry. You weren't as experienced you're not as inexperienced as I believe. Sorry, my mind's still fried.
You're fine. Rudy will just, give a nod. Just turn the page.
Still on for those exercises whenever we make camp?
Yes.
All right, then. And that'll be it from me.
Okay. Yep. I'm guessing Rudy's just going to spend the entire trip reading.
Yes.
Okay. I imagine she managed to install some kind of hammer space a compartment in a carriage that only he holds books?
She has a bag of holding now.
Ah, right.
That's all the hammer space she needs, mate.
I had completely forgotten about it. That is true. Silo, is there anything you want to do?
I can't think of anything right now.
Okay, Heaven?
No.
Heaven?
My mind's blank as well.
All right, then. So, your journey... So your journey towards the valley, as opposed to your journey through the valley, takes you about a week, as you predicted. And Talos, the scenery is just getting more and more familiar to you as you go. But for the rest of you, the first thing you notice is the change in weather. The air is getting steadily a lot more hot and humid. Until, I mean, if any of you do hairdresser stuff or anything, safe to say that's been ruined now.
There goes Heaven's hair.
Yeah. Like her hair is just kind of a tangled, bit of a just a, yeah, like you're gonna need time at a salon after this.
You know, if you cut your hair short, you wouldn't have problems like that.
I need my hair. And besides, I prefer it long. Heaven just looks at Rudy like she has spoken like complete blasphemy.
You're very much like my brother. Rudy just goes back to reading.
Heaven doesn't know whether to take that as a compliment or an insult, so she just lets it go.
Okay. So, alongside the weather pattern, and the scenery around you is getting greener and greener. Like, you are sort of treading into jungle territory now. Like there's jungles that suddenly give way to grasslands, and then it's just very green, and you are pretty much hearing just animals and wildlife around you at all hours now. Like, of course, like most of it, most of it flees when it notices you, of course, as animals do. So you and so and then in the distance you can start to make out sort of a mountain range, and sort of just a line of mountains. Talos, you would recognize that as the border of the valley.
Well, everyone looks like we're just about nearing the border. It's such a, what's the word? Surreal experience? I haven't been home in so long.
Scylla would send Hope up in the air and just get bird-eye view.
And so you travel on for a couple more days, eventually reaching the mountains, and there are roads through it. Like, yeah, your horse and cart can get along that road, although the weather is remaining as unpredictable as ever. Like thunderstorm, it'll be all hot and like the weather's getting unpredictable. Like it'll be all like very hot and humid one moment, only for a thunderstorm to just come out of nowhere and just drench everything. And it'll last about 15 minutes and then just like go away like it was never there. So, like, and that you get those like 2 or 3 times a day. And it's generally not very predictable. Yeah. You're also starting to encounter a lot of bugs.
Just a quick question, DM. These rapid weather changes is something that Talus is used to, I imagine. Yes.
Oh yeah, like, I welcome to the tropics, baby.
But yeah, Talus just kind of like almost on reflex when he feels a bug land on him. He just like almost lightning reflexes, like just pushes it under his paw.
Roll an unarmed attack.
Well, thankfully, I'm apparently proficient enough in that. So here we go.
One moment. D&D 5e. What is the AC of bug? I'm gonna say that just hits it because we all know how hard it can be to swat a fly.
Yep. But yeah, Talus gets it, and they're like, "Oh well, the bugs are starting to come out again. Did not miss this."
So,
Is this all familiar to you, Talus?
Very familiar. This is that's where I grew up, after all. Word to the wise, if you have long hair, it typically helps keep the bugs away, but only so much.
It's good to know.
all right. So, you keep moving along the path. Like you're starting to make your way through the mountains at this point. And yeah, it's been about a week, and at that point you and you and now when you about 5 hours into the mountains, it's like the road winds around quite a bit because there's really no straight path through. Your journey comes to a sudden halt because when you see that the road has been blocked by a rock slide.
Alright, so DM?
Yeah. What do you do?
What do I roll to figure out if this is sort of a natural occurrence or it was forced or man-made, so to speak?
I'm gonna say roll either nature or survival. It's not gonna be a hard one. Yeah, like this looks entirely natural to you. Like they've been like rock slides have been known to happen in these mountains, especially after it's like especially after a thunderstorm, which are quite common in the wetter part of the year, which this is.
All right. Well, seems like either we're taking a long route around, or we're gonna have to leave the horse and carriage here.
Would be a fool's errand just to leave the horse and carriage unguarded.
Pardon me.
We knew we wouldn't be able to bring it the full way, remember?
Yeah,
that
but
was
that's what we were supposed to stop at a city nearby.
Sorry. How far are we from the city?
Uh, on horse and carriage. On horse. City's like not far from. City's not far from the border. On horse and carriage, it would be a couple more days. If you were to try and make it on foot, it could easily stretch out into another week.
Okay, so I'm going to try something batshit insane.
I love to hear that.
All right, so Talos is going to try and make better time by moving the rocks out of the way.
So, so you're just gonna like start are digging like a madman?
Pretty much.
And okay. One moment while I Google something. Like, go ahead. Go ahead and roll athletics.
All right.
Oh, like. Let me just see, like. Rock. Let me just look up how big these get. So it says you only have 10 minutes, so it's not going to be enough to clear the whole thing, but you get a decent way through. Like a couple more rounds of this, and you probably would be able to make a path.
Oh yeah. After Talos finishes, sorry, what was that?
And you get about a third of it out of the way. Like there's not a proper path through for your horse and carriage yet. But give it like like a couple more rounds, like maybe just a couple more rounds of that, and you should have this cleared by like let's say it's about noon. Like you could probably have this cleared by like late afternoon. And if you keep it with, and if like you like just get more of that. DM reminder that channel divinity recharges on a short rest.
Yep, I'm aware of that. So, I guess if everyone's all right with that, Talos will just be, taking like hour-long breaks and then getting back to just shoveling giant boulders out of the way like a madman.
Yeah, like you just like you just watched him like burrowing. Yeah, like the rest of you just saw Talos like sigh, like walk over, or like flex really hard, and then just start are digging up and tossing all these boulders aside like like a maniac. Like and then he gets like a big chunk of it done before he like his just strength just gives out and he has to stop up for a breather.
My goodness.
Well, I have to say, this has got to be the hardest workout I've had in quite some time.
Well, nicely done. You managed making good progress there.
He gives he kind of gives like a weary thumbs up. He's clearly winded, but you know he's doing his best.
Okay. All right. So, no one else has got anything. Like, fast forward through your short rest. Go ahead and do the same thing again.
Alrighty.
Okay. 19. Yeah, progress is a little bit slow. You don't get quite as much done as you did with the first round, like because, like, you're still a little bit
Everything-
weary from.
Every muscle is in pain.
Yeah, like you were like completely fresh when you did it the last time, so I'm not quite then, but this is still a partial success, like because clearing out a rock slide with your bare hands is a DC 20 achievement. So at this point, the rock slide is about half gone.
Okay. Nearly done.
Gonna rest up again?
If I could, please.
Yeah. Also, do note, how much water do you all have on you?
I mean,
Because
I would assume
because the city you're going to does sit on a lake, so so you'll be able to resupply there, no problem. But the last river you crossed by was a while back.
Oh, we have a water skin. At least I do, anyway.
Yeah, and like those are filled, and like presumably you took every opportunity to refill them, but you only have so much with you.
well, rationing out. We're not stupid.
Yeah, but like with that kind of workout, like like with a workout like this, like how much are you willing extra are you willing to give yourself to stay hydrated? Because it's a very hot place and it's a very hard workout.
Okay, wait, I'll tell you this one thing. I'm
What?
willing to take a point of exhaustion for this.
Okay, so we'll assume normal rations and then okay, and this break and keep on digging.
A question for the DM.
Yeah.
Could I use prestidigitation to give us a cool breeze?
Yes, you can actually, and it's not actually going to do anything because he already had advantage, which is good because he got a nat 20. But that cool breeze does actually give you a bit of a boost, though. Otalos, and you actually managed to clear out the rest of it in this last 10 minutes. It's like you just like knock it all aside, and then you collapse. Now take your point of exhaustion. Well done. You technically cleared out a rock slide in about half an hour.
Yeah, just before he collapses, like Talos kind of gives this like big roar and like a flex, and then he just sort of collapsed back onto his back.
Go ahead and roll a performance check for me. You look very impressive. And that roar is heard for miles.
Should CeeLo and I roll a resistance check against how impressive Talos is?
If you want to, roll a wisdom save.
What do you think, CeeLo?
She's gonna be busy looking around the area with Hope's eyes.
This may be awakening something in you, Heaven.
Oh God.
Jesus Christ. But yeah, it's pretty clear that Talos is a little out of it now.
Yeah. So yeah, he is just like that one really impressive roar, and then he just collapses to the ground.
Well, that was impressive.
Thank you.
He's gonna need help getting back on the cart now, though.
Everyone looks at Rudy. I don't suppose you have a levitation spell in your spellbook somewhere, do you?
No.
Let's just carry him on the cart.
Otherwise, I would have done something about the rocks.
She makes a good point.
You're out cold.
Oh no, he's still conscious. He's just like too tired to really do stand at the moment.
A little delirious.
Yeah. Like
All
he
right.
just had the
all right.
workout of his life. Like he's exhausted.
All right, CeeLo. You get one side, I'll get the other.
Very well.
Okay, between the two of you,
Strength check.
Talos, how heavy gear are you holding at the moment?
You mean just his gear?
Well, you and your gear. Like, take it together, how much do you weigh?
Your total weight.
The total weight of the equipment is 234.
Okay, I assume some of that is stored on the cart.
I mean, assuming, yeah, because if he was working out with all that shit on, he probably would take more than just a single point of exhaustion.
Actually, honestly, yeah, so no, just your weight in that case.
Yeah. Talos weighs a solid 250 pounds.
Let me do some math to see if you what are your strength scores, CeeLo and Heaven?
Like our base strength, 11 with a 0.
Zero.
Okay, CeeLo. Oh, and CeeLo, I believe you have an 8?
No, I got a 10.
Oh. Okay, let me just get out my calculator. Okay, 10. Well, assuming that, like, I assume everyone's just stored their most of their gear on the cart. So yeah, you like working together. You would actually he does actually fit within your carry weight. So no strength check needed.
Oh, okay.
Even with that brass armor?
He's probably not
Actually-
wearing lifting locks. I don't know.
Oh, actually, no, he would be. No, he would. He actually would be. Remind me what Talos is 250.
He's 200. He's 250 pounds at base.
Yeah, plus another 65. Plus another 65 for the armor. Okay. You guys just have enough strength to lift him. Like literally, he weighs exactly 315 pounds. With the armor on.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah. So. So actually, yeah, just make a strength check, but it's not going to be hard. You just like one help the other. You just need to roll above a 10.
All right.
Oh, I said that.
Yes, you did.
Uh,
Now I haven't. We threw out
I,
our
w-
backs trying to
I mean,
lift
I was gonna.
Talos.
Uh, I was gonna say one of you give the other or help, but that wouldn't have even helped here. Yeah. Well, so you have some. Well, no, you do eventually get him onto the cart, but by that point, it's getting. But by that point, it's getting dark, and you're both really tired. You don't take a point of exhaustion, but you're tired.
Okay.
Sorry for the inconvenience. My whole body is just screaming at me.
You will get some rest. I'll pull the cart. You see Rudy close the book with a disgruntled sigh and just slowly sit down at the front of the cart with a very, very annoyed expression.
When they ask you to drive, but you just want to sit down and read. I've been there. Okay, so it's getting dark now. So, how long do you want to push yourself before you stop for a rest?
I mean, Rudy's an elf.
Well,
Dark vision.
yes, but the horses aren't.
That's fair.
The horses had a 4-hour nap of not moving.
And yes, but they still need long rests, just like every other non-elf thing.
To be fair,
Like,
Rudy
if you
would
ride a
probably let me.
yeah.
To be fair, Rudy would probably not know that, but I'd say we
Oh
go.
dear.
Let me finish. I'd say we go another 4 hours before someone reminds Rudy that other things need to rest.
Okay, but
They rested
well,
4 hours, so go another 4
hold on.
hours.
Well, hold on. Okay, so you do that, and but Rudy, tell me, you actually roll an animal handling check actually just to see if you notice them getting tired, because if they do get overworked, that could have consequences. You notice that they're getting really tired about 2 hours in.
Fine, we'll stop at 2 hours in.
Yeah. If you'd gone the full 4 hours, then things would have gotten interesting. Okay, so you all stop to rest as for the night. Like you find like sort of a decent flat at alcove, sort of like a sort of. What you find is like it's got actually like some basic shelter set up. Like it looks like this is basically used as like a roadside, like it's one of those roadside rest area as you sometimes see on highways, like the ones.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Yes.
Yeah,
Like
like
a
it's
little-
kind of set up as a very basic version of that.
Like a little camping alcove.
Pretty much. Sorry, I'm eating. So, Rudy, I assume you're taking the first watch?
Yes.
Yeah. So, go ahead and roll perception.
Yeah.
Okay, you're pretty attentive. Alright. It's like you you do it for like a good 4 hours. There's like give the others some time to sleep. It when and off in the distance, and you hear sort of a like it sounds like a bird almost, but kind of wrong. Like sort of well, it almost has a weird. One moment while I look something up. Like it almost has sort of a grunt under it. It like this very deep grunt under what sounds like a bird squawking. And
I will. Like you said, this is an alcove, right?
yeah, like it's sort of like it's basically a cave with holes in the ceiling for air and lights, and like some like sort of like basic shelter and bedding set up in it.
Would you say a minor illusion would be enough to just cover it in a very basic illusion that there's rocks instead of a opening to the cave?
The cave, the entrance is. I mean, it's not a big cave, but the entrance is quite a bit bigger than a 5 foot cube, unfortunately.
All right. I'll
It's big enough for a horse and cart to fit in.
I'll wake Talos and then mention the sound and say what and ask him what it is.
Sure. Hang on. Just you said it. You said it sounded like a bird call, but something felt off about it.
Rudy will nod.
All right. So once Talos has waken up fully, does this sound familiar to him?
Well, yeah, like there's plenty of bird type things in the valley, so there's like plenty of different things it can be. But why don't you go and roll nature with advantage to see it. Well, actually, first of all, roll perception to see if you can hear it.
All right, perception goes up.
I'm afraid you cannot hear it, but go ahead and roll nature with advantage just to see if you can narrow it down at all. 11. So, yeah, like it sounds like the more guttural one. Like in your experience, more guttural usually means more predatory. So you're not sure what exactly it is, but whatever it is, you should be on your guard.
So Talos' assumption is that it's a bird of prey of some sort.
Yeah.
But yeah. He pinches the bridge of his nose and he says, there's a lot of things it could be, but best I could guess is perhaps it's one of the predatory birds around here.
Alright, in that case, Rudy is going to wake everyone up just so that if it does attack, they won't be surprised, and Rudy's just gonna say, stay awake for 10 minutes.
Alright.
Yeah. Sorry, that was my sister. So, okay, so, since Talos is up at this point, and at this point you're basically you've basically had your long rest, so go ahead and get rid of that point of exhaustion. We might as well make this your shift.
Did you hear what I said? That's a no. Rudy is going to wake everyone up and ask them to just wait for 5 or 10 minutes to make sure the bird isn't about to attack. So that if it does attack, they don't get surprised.
Okay. Well, you wait the 5 or 10 minutes, and nothing shows up to attack you.
Okay. Rudy will then let them go back to sleep.
All right.
Okay.
I'll make this my shift, Rudy. You make sure you go ahead and relax. All right.
I'm an elf. We never relax.
He just chuckles and smiles with a shrug. Fair enough. Still, I'll keep watch.
Rudy will go to meditate, but as with most elves, passive perception is 14, and you play elves exclusively, so you know this stuff.
Well, not exclusive. Well, not exclusively, but I do play a lot of them. Yes.
When
They're
was
my
the
fantasy.
last non-elf you played?
I play one every other Saturday. Rudy. Elves are my fantasy comfort food. Stop judging.
I'm not judging. I'm teasing.
Yeah, I know. But anyway, yeah. So, yeah, like you're. So you're sleeping but still ready.
Yeah.
So yeah. Yeah. So Talos, go ahead.
Roll perception.
Yeah.
All right.
You're actually you're actually hearing it now too, but it seems pretty far away.
Probably not something to worry about for now. Still, I can't exactly pin down what it is. Talos just kind of muses on that as he keeps God.
Right. So, you. And okay, so, Evan, and I believe it is your turn. Yeah, Evan, might as well be you now. Oh, actually, wait, no, you would have set up shifts yourselves. Who's going next? Who's going last?
All right.
Has it been 4 hours yet?
Well, you took the first 4 hours, so now you're trancing.
So Talos took another 4 hours?
No, he took 2 hours.
Okay. That's all.
I'll take the last shift of whatever.
All right, go ahead and roll perception.
You want me to do that?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm going to use hope instead because I'm a cheater.
And it's only cheating if the bad guys do it, Tilo.
No, that's fair. I'm using it to my advantage for goodness.
Yeah.
Well, that goodness is worthless
What
this
advantage
time.
it brought you? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'm tempted to say that your hubris would bring you disadvantage, but I'm not that mean.
Damn.
Yeah. Hope they do a little bit of scouting, yeah, they don't really see they don't see anything approaching really. Like you sort of send Hope out to scout a bit, and they promptly get lost. Uh, 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 us and you eventually and basically at that point you kind of just have to summon them have to just summon them back.
Yeah, I can do that with Find Familiar, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm doing that.
You don't have to spend any resources because you're just summoning an existing one to your side. You're not re-summoning it after it's been healed.
Right.
So
I put them in a storage compartment and I pull them right back out. I believe that's how that works.
yeah, so I think at that point everyone's pretty much up at this point. Dawn is breaking.
So it just stretches the morning and she wakes the others up for the morning.
Yeah.
All right. We're good to go, guys.
Still feeling a little sore, but I'm feeling much better after yesterday.
So, Rudy,
Yes?
you are absolutely positively certain that there is nothing noisy in the area right now.
We're not being followed by cultists for once. Maybe this area is cultist free.
That's a surprise. That's actually a rather big surprise for once.
What about something other than cultists?
I can only detect cultists.
That doesn't make anything better.
I wouldn't bet on that fully either. A lot of them moved out of the city a few days before us. They would be following us. They'll be setting up for us if they wanted to do that.
Well, try not to worry too much about all the creatures within the valley heaven. Remember, just remember, you have someone who's grown up here all his life. I'll be able to direct us when we're in trouble or not.
I hope you're right.
We'll continue on the way. Edward.
Okay, so you so you set out along the cliff, along the path. Sorry, yeah. Excuse me. And about an hour into the journey, you actually break through to the other side of the mountains, and you are treated to, honestly, a pretty impressive sight. Like all the jungles and hills and savanna, as who've who've been passing by on the way here. it's like that. Like it's very much like that, but extra. Like you are in heart of Africa, Lion King country right now. Like, and you are just overlooking all this from a huge cliff on the border.
Well, everyone, welcome to the valley.
Doesn't seem the life or death. It seems just more beauty and scenery.
Well, that's nature for you, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's very beautiful when it's calm and serene, but it can turn very nasty in a second.
Yeah. If you're looking, well, if you're like looking hard at it, like everyone roll perception for me.
My rolls suck tonight.
Yeah. It happened. Rudy, that includes you.
She already rolled perception. Oh, never mind.
That was a
Yeah.
different roll.
Okay, so Talos and Silo, like you look and well, there's sort of like right at the base of the cliff. If you're traveling along, there's like a river sort of like just snaking along, like at the base of the cliff. If and like it, like you're going, like you can just about tell that you're headed downstream. Your eye follows the river downstream, and just in the distance, you can make out a lake with with what looks like a basically with basically just a city just like sitting like just partially on it. It's about a day or two's travel away. That is the city of Safia, your current destination.
I can see it.
Not too particularly far.
Yeah. So you're on basically just a cliff. It's the cliffside road right now, like just one of those roads that runs along the edge of a cliff. You know the kind.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you go along that for a few hours, pretty uneventfully. Like if there's anything you'd like to do, this is some good downtime to do it in.
So we'll just have Hope have Hope hold a the water skin and just have him refill water nearby before we get to the lake.
But yeah, he actually he dives he dives down into basically off the cliff, like just to the river that's actually running in below it. It and that was actually a good plan because you were actually getting kind of low at this point. Yeah, so he just like dives down, hovers above it, and just like holds it in the water. And lets the water just fill it up.
Yeah.
And then he flies back up with it.
She'll do this for every water skin the party has.
Yeah.
Fair enough. While she's doing that, Talos is also kind of fiddling around with the immovable rod, trying to think like, oh, well, maybe I can test my strength while we're traveling, but fails to take into consideration that, well, it stops. It doesn't just, well, it's not displaced inside the cot, so to speak.
Yeah.
So every
You
other
tried
time,
to do that.
yeah. So every other
You
time
tried
he's like, go ahead.
Okay, so you tried to do that, and roll me a quick athletics check for what comes next. No channel divinity, please.
Alrighty.
Okay, so you okay, so all right, so you click, so you click it, and it immediately stops. And ups, like, and you're holding it above the cart, so you're just doing it, and you like, well, obviously the rod doesn't move, but like you noticeably noticeably slow down the cart on the cart when this happens.
Yeah, and in the split second he does this, he realizes, and he says, "Oh," and presses the button and gets the cart
Yeah.
moving again.
Well, like the
So-
cart actually just stops at that point because the horses are like, "Oh, what the fuck?"
May I roll dexterity
For
to
what?
see if I stay see if I stay on the cart after it just suddenly jostles?
Just really
No.
quick. Cause the streaming is gonna pick this up. That beeping sound is my tablet breaking. It's on its way out. I need to get a new one, and yeah, so
Okay.
that's what that sound is. Sorry, continue.
Okay, we're gonna have to have a small discussion over that later, but good to know. Sure, go ahead and roll it. Wasn't that like a hard jostle? So this isn't gonna be a hard roll.
Is this a saving throw or just regular dexterity?
I don't think that makes a difference with you, but just let's call it a save.
Well, it didn't make a difference with me.
Yeah, and yeah, an 11, you like get bumped a bit, but like no danger of actually getting knocked off. Like you would have had to roll like a 7 or below to actually fall off the cart.
But still being like jolted, her brow twitches as she just looks to the culprit of the question, and she just holds out a hand for the rod.
He looks kind of confused at you for a moment, and like looks at your hand, and then looks at the rod, like just kind of slowly gives it to you.
Thank you. And she holds onto the rod for now.
Okay, Talos, delete it from your sheet. Silo, add it to your sheet.
How heavy is the immovable rod?
Not very heavy. It's like a foot long, I think.
Can Hope
Like-
carry it? This matters for future things.
Oh, in that case, I actually have to look this up because I love future things.
I think it's like half a pound or something.
Does it not say?
Pretty sure it does, but I just deleted it from my sheet. So.
Okay, I'm gonna look it up real quick. I'm gonna add it to my sheet and see what it says. It says 0, so half a pound sounds about right.
Yeah. And yeah, Hope would be able to carry that no problem.
Awesome.
Yeah, like it's like I'm gonna say it's about a foot and a half long, so that'd be like a bit. So like it might be like a little. So yeah, like it. So yeah, like it's not like she'd have to hold like no wait I'm sorry Hope's a he would have to hold. Well, they would have to hold it in their hands. I'm just gonna use they from now on.
All right. Well, instead of that, because that's just
Yeah, so like
that
because like they
makes
don't
it-
exactly have any pockets.
It's okay. I'm gonna bring out a knife, a dagger that I have, and start cutting up the whip that I had stolen from Rudy at one point.
Oh, this is interesting. What are you up
Do
to?
you mean the whip I gave you, or the magic whip?
Not
Uh,
the magic, the regular whip.
Okay, that's fine.
You
then.
wouldn't be able to cut. You wouldn't be able to cut up a magic whip with a knife.
Depends on how magical my knife is. Regardless, I'm cutting
Your
up the
your knife is mundane. I would have remembered giving you a magic knife. But
I'm
yeah,
cutting up the whip to make some strings.
I see. Well, I mean, honestly, a rod is like made out, like a whip is like made out of woven leather string, so really you just have to like cut some out.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm just cutting some out, enough to make a fine hold, like leather band of some sort, and I'll just tie it around the rod on each end, and then I'll just hand it over, have him to carry.
Okay. Go ahead and roll a general dexterity check just to see the quality of your craftsmanship.
Oh boy, it's gonna be so craftsmanship.
So you didn't exactly attend the Girl Scouts as growing up, so you're not really very experienced with knots. Yeah, like with some instruction, you might be able to make something better, but this is it falls apart when under any actual stress.
Zilla just simply huffs.
Oh.
I'll figure something out for this later.
You've got plenty of whip left if you want to try again once you're better able to.
Well, it says I have a purse. What kind of purse is this?
I imagine that's meant to be like a coin purse.
Yeah, that's fair. Never mind.
Yeah,
Then.
so it's not big enough for your movable rod, I'm afraid.
Okay. Okay.
Put an iron plate in it and smack someone with it.
I'll just have Hope normally carry it then with his weird hands, claws,
Or just in his mouth.
or his mouth. Doesn't have a bite attack, so that's fine.
Yeah. Well, well, no, he doesn't have a bite attack. He has a sting.
That's true. He does have a bite attack, but it's worthless. This thing is matters. All right.
Well, in any case, so, and I looked. By the way, I looked up the movable rod. There is actually a DC at which it can be moved. It would require a Tarrasque rolling a nat 20 on a strength in check, but it can be moved.
It is possible.
Or maybe Talus taking shit tons of steroids.
Well, I mean, you'd be the one deploying it, though, so what is even the point? But anyway. So, so a few more hours of road trip and shenanigans pass by, and go by. Like, you're starting to fall into the familiar road trip routine. And you start to hear some noises ahead. Rudy, these are the same, and they're a lot closer than they were last night. Rudy, these are the same noises you heard last night, and they're a lot closer.
We have company, and they're probably not cultists.
Yeah, and Talos, you actually recognize it now. Like, you know, like, you're 90% sure you know what this is, and when you round the next corner, yeah, it's a couple of these.
Hang on. Oh, good.
Yeah, Peritons. It's one of the nastier. Like, they're one of the nastier editors is local to the Valley of Life and Death. This appears to be two of them fighting over a fresh kill. Like, you can just about see a dead antelope on the road, and I am going to move you to the map.
Great. Well, great. Talus says Peritons.
Yeah. So they're generally very unpleasant to be around, and you have heard of people trying to actually tame them to make mounts out of them. But
with varying degrees of success.
Yeah, I mean, like, no one in your pride has ever managed it, but you've heard of it being done, and like, anyone riding a Periton is generally into battle is generally not someone you want to stay very far away from, when they're on the opposite side.
Fair enough. Talos seems a little more, I don't know, perturbed and annoyed than like freaking out or anything.
Is there
DM,
a
I got
way-
a question for you. Sorry.
I was going to ask, is there a way around them? Tell us.
Well, they're distracted by what appears to be some elk meat, so we
It's
have a chance.
yeah, it is a freshly killed antelope.
Well, sorry, let me rephrase that. Well, they seem to be distracted by some fresh antelopes, so chances are we have a better chance of sneaking by them. After all, why go for something that looks a little harder to kill than, well, go for the easier option.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're not going to be able to sneak by them, but what exactly is your plan here?
Raise his hand. I got one. How big is their mouths?
How big are their mouths?
Yeah. This
I mean,
matters.
I mean, not big. I mean, not very big. These ones appear to be relatively young, so they're relatively small. Like the ones that can be used who's just mounts tend to be a bit older.
Hmm.
Which is part of why they're so hard to tame. Like the ones that are big enough to rock are often much older and much prouder.
And typically have a bigger attitude to match.
Not big.
Yeah,
So if I were to get
being able to ride one is considered to be a bit of a status symbol, as I mentioned.
So would that be like the size of Silla's head? Like their jaws would be in total? I know this is a weird question, but this matters to how I'm going to proceed to attack these guys.
Oh, I know. I'm thinking I mean, honestly, they're bigger. Or they've just got more. They're about. Have you ever seen a deer in real life before?
Yeah.
Okay. Imagine the size of basically a large stag egg, but with just the mouth just has more sharp stuff in it.
Okay. All right. That's all I need to know. Okay.
Okay. So
Yeah,
what are you doing?
Oh, I'm not doing anything yet. I'm just going to see what's happening. This is for future. So that's what we're going to do.
We'll attempt to move past, but stay alert, and if they try to attack, we'll retaliate.
We might not be able to sneak by them entirely, but as long as we mind our business and we keep an eye on them, and then we may be able to pass without much effort.
So that's what we're doing, Wedwood.
Yeah. So just strolling forward, or basically sending subliminal messages of "Don't mess with us."
Pretty much, yeah. Talos is out the front, leading the cart, just kind of keeping very close eye on the two of them.
Okay, in that case, Talos, go ahead and roll intimidation with advantage, because I'm going to say the rest. Hey, the others are helping you with this. Okay. Hey, 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 so, as you approach, it's like they both sort of like crouch down, like close, like, yeah, like they're both like still fighting over the kill, but like they growl when you guys get close, but they do not approach you. Although one of them does eye your horse, with a bit of a hungry look in its eye.
Is the horse with us, or are we leaving that behind?
We haven't made it to the city yet where we're leaving them.
Yeah. Yeah, you're still you're still in a part of the valley where roads exist, so you're still using your horse and carriage.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, and you have gotten past them.
Okay.
And like they kind of go back to fighting each other.
See that? He smiles to everyone almost proudly.
We
It's all
ain't
about
out of the woods.
respect. Sorry, go ahead.
We ain't out of the woods. Let's get the hell out of here.
It's all about respect in the valley. You prove you're strong, and the others will leave you be.
I feel better as soon as we're out of sight.
Very well then.
And well, and you get out of sight. Hey. So, okay. So you keep moving. You keep you keep moving along. So you keep moving along the same like stretch of road. Like eventually you start like the cliffside edge is starting to get lower. Like you now like just in the distance you can see the point where it kind of hits the ground, as it were. And like you've been at this point you've been going along for a number of hours. So is so is so you is so you like it's starting to get dark. Uh, uh, and yeah, like it's getting yeah, it's like getting a bit darker now. Like there's no yeah, like no real alcove this time. This time, but like there's enough trees to provide shade and like.
Okay, we'll set up camp.
Yeah.
So we're taking shifts again?
Seemed to work fine last time. But once we get the camp sorted, Rudy, don't forget a routine.
Okay. And okay, so what? Okay, so Rudy, you first go ahead and roll perception. It, well, that's a 7. but but it's still enough. If you if you see like you see a figure like oh well, here's what happens like well, you're like just looking out like basically just like you're all just like sitting under some shade, eh, near like near the cliff. If like just keeping an eye out and like out and occasionally just like returning, getting to work on reading your book.
Mm-hmm.
When suddenly, like, you know how like that trope in movies where like someone's trying to hide at the top of a cliff, if in like they accidentally like stumble and like kick some rocks and dust down.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you notice some rocks and dust sliding down. Basically next to you.
All right. I'm going to kick the others away.
Yeah. Well, no, like I assume you look up.
Sure, I'll look up.
Yeah, because and well, and you see, you see basically you see a figure like you can't make out many of the details of this distance. Like he's standing basically a little ways up the mountain, and when he sees you, just like he seems like just like recovering from a stumble. And when he sees you and when he sees you looking at him, he makes a motion as though he's getting a bow ready.
Can I kick them
Talos
awake
quickly.
now?
Yep. As Talos wakes up and notices what's going on, he quickly whips out his bow and readies, and draws it back with an arrow.
No, don't worry about it.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna hold on. I'm gonna see it.
I'm just saying
Like,
I
you
want to
hear-
use that. I'm not rolling for it. I'm just saying that's what I want to use.
Okay, well, let me finish. Like, no, he's got his bow ready, but he doesn't fire. Let me he instead just actually he just straightens up and actually seems to hover down, over down, like not fly or anything. Like he doesn't seem to have wings or anything. He just flies down as Peter Pan style down to you, and just over you and lands basically in the middle of the road. Bow still trained on you. And now that you're closer, this is what you see. They generally try to hide their appearance, but Talos, they've been known to. You've seen them. You've seen like the ones in the valley don't generally hide their appearance very well, Talos. So you generally know a nymph when you see one. My name is Orion, and you're trespassing on my territory.
It's a
nymph.
road. It's public property.
The last outsider, the last outsider to come through my territory, he says, like just with a glare at the insolent elf. Of came here with hostile intentions.
And what about the outsider before that? And the outsider before that? And the outsider before that? And the outsider before that?
We
And the
get it,
outsider-
Rudy.
And what do you come here for, strangers?
We're traveling to the city. That's what roads are for, are they not?
roll persuasion with disadvantage because you're being rude.
Am I awake?
Yeah, you're all awake at this point.
Okay.
So
12.
Not bad, considering I
rolled.
have 8 charisma. I mean, minus
Yeah.
1 charisma.
Yeah. And you're and the and no, he looks at you, Talos. Your your elf could stand to learn some manners. And he just like slowly just loosens his bow, and like getting a good look at him now, you can see like he's got some fresh scars on him. Like you get the sense of whatever this whoever this last stranger was that passed through, they gave him a bit of a beating.
Talos slowly lets off on the giant's bow himself, and still keeps the arrow in one hand and the bow in the other, but
Yeah,
he's
like
he's got slack on it.
yeah, like yeah, and he like Orion kind of does the same.
You said your name was Orion?
Yes.
I'm Talos. Talos Firemane.
Oh, I see. Like, yeah, he recognizes that name. He actually seems to relax when you say that. Yeah. Perhaps if you're of these lands, then perhaps you can be trusted. Apologies.
My companions can be trusted as well, but I understand. And I understand the caution. You seem harmed. Do you need assistance?
These they have healed, although although they have healed. Only the scars remain. Like you, like getting a bed, like a roll medicine to see exactly what happened to him. Yeah, okay, yeah, like you see, like there are cut wound, there are like slash wound. It was like basically along his arms and a couple up on his chest, and you also see what you think are a couple of lightning scars.
Have you been? He kind of squints at this and he says, "Am I the only one who notices those, or do those particular marks seem strange?" He turns to everyone.
No stranger than someone appearing above us on a cliff with a bow drawn, and then saying, "We're the rude ones."
And well, in these lands, trespassing on another person's territory is considered rude. Is it not so? Oh, where you are from, Melf?
Rudy, what Rudy means is that, like, Rudy's just, how to put this?
Culture clash.
No, never mind. Never mind.
Like he like just lowers the bow entirely now.
Were you struck by lightning recently?
The other outsider I mentioned, he wielded a glaive that crackled with the stuff.
Oh, and did you win?
And he just looks at you, Silo, like sort of almost as though he was kind of annoyed by that question. No, I did not.
Scylla just casually smirks as she hops onto her hoofs. Struts a little closer to the man, but still keeping a good fair distance as sort of a respect value.
Yeah. Oh, and actually, this could have resulted in combat. It's probably not going to at this point, but who knows? And that might come in handy.
She's gonna give it a thorough examine as she like struts a little closer, to a degree. Like she's gonna check out, see what this guy's build is, just how trained he is, just by a general look. She's gonna examine a little bit.
I mean, he's not exactly covered up, as you can see from his artwork. But go ahead and roll. Say just a general intelligence check.
Is it wrong to
Okay.
pick up guys after invading their territory?
The next hit isekai. No, wait, not isekai, is it? I don't know the terminology. I'm stupid.
Harriman, man.
There you go.
Yeah. They often go hand in hand, but they are not the same thing. He looks muscly. You don't know if it's Archer muscly, but he definitely looks muscly.
Alright, so he's strong. That's all Scylla cares about. So Scylla walks a bit closer. So, you look like you trained a bit. Where do you hail from? If this is your territory, does that mean you travel alone?
Hold it.
Well, go ahead. Well, Talos, go ahead and roll. Go ahead. You go ahead and roll intelligence with advantage because, like, you would more you would more or less know how nymphs operate because they're pretty common in the valley. But like just to see how clear you are on the specifics. Okay, so you're not clear keen on the specifics at all, but you're pretty sure he's tied to this area in some way. Like he's kind of the spirit of this particular strip. Like if you had to guess, you'd say he was kind of the spirit of this particular stretch of cliffside, more or less. If that makes sense.
Spirit of the mountains, so to speak.
Yeah. Like bottom line is like what you do know for sure is that nymphs do not often leave home.
He turns to Cielo and kind of conveys this information. Nymphs typically do not leave the areas in which they are bound.
Are they bound together or are they bound separately? That's the question. You said invading area, so is this considered only your territory, per se?
That is correct. No matter where, no matter what roads other people might build here, and he sort of like has a look of contempt when he says that word.
I see. And you went
He
past.
looks annoyed. Like he looks annoyed that there would be any through traffic in this area at all.
Well, my humblest apologies to unknowingly invade your area. I do not mean any harm. As sure my comrades would be speaking the same of that. However, who was the person you fought recently?
He did not give his name. I mean, he was a very large horned man wearing black hides.
Oh, man without honor, then, obviously, as they would normally give a name. At least that's what I read in back in the books.
Large horn and black hides.
Yes, he looks. I do not know what manner of creature he was, but he was definitely not quite what he seemed. Probably in and like that, I'd probably be right at home in this environment.
Scylla would walk, make circles around him, kinda, to a degree.
Yeah.
And she's just like glances to his like armor and clothing in general, just casually as she's walking by, as if studying what he's having.
Yeah, like what exactly are you looking for? Are you just ogling him?
He's
No, not ogling. I'm looking for like what he's like equipment that he's clearly showing.
He just seems to have the bow.
Oh, that's disappointing. So let's just simply sighs. Well, seems that we'll be moving on as well. Whenever we can. Quicker the better, it seems. City's nearby.
Yes. Go ahead and roll just a general charisma check for me for your whole interaction and with him, Silo.
Sure.
Okay, like he actually seems a lot calmer now. Like you may continue to rest here for the night.
Oh. Much obliged, mister. Glad that we can be safe under your protection for all the night.
And he nods, and then just Peter Pan flies away.
May fate guide your arrow. All she says with a slight smirk.
Okay, and as you settle down on for the night, just getting back to sleep, getting back to your watches. I think that is actually a pretty decent place to call it for this evening.
One more thing.
Okay.
As they're setting up, Heaven just raises an eyebrow and smirks teasingly at CeeLo. You were flirting with that nymph, weren't you?
Flirting for knowledge, gaining ways. Information is key around here.
Insight check.
Okay, Philo, roll deception or persuasion, whatever you prefer. Heaven, you roll your insight check.
Good luck.
And Philo's ways are so mysterious, Heaven. You can't possibly hope to penetrate them.
Yeah, but she can speculate.
Yeah. Okay, well, on that note, I think we're going to end it this week. We will see you all next week. 3 people in the audience, I'm given to understand.
All right. You guys have a good one.
See ya.
Night.
Yeah.
We're actually have 2 people in the audience at the moment, but there are a couple of people that watched later.
Great.
Thank you all for tuning in. See you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
See ya.
Yeah.